This is Michigan Stadium. Reportedly, it has a seating capacity of 107,601 people, and it's the second largest stadium in the world. When a public personality who has 28,000 more subscribers than this stadium holds, and when you consider that each of these people have a zone of influence that reaches far beyond these numbers, I want to reach out to those people with the message of freedom. Douglas Fuck Your Rights Ducote has 136,000 subscribers who are mentally influenced by his content. By the way, I didn't give Doug that name, he did. He's demonstrated that when people who aren't harming or threatening to harm others act as free men and women in the face of tyrannical edicts like the ones placed on Americans during this plandemic scamdemic, which Douglas has also bought hook, line, and sinker, he thinks that it's justifiable to violate inalienable rights in order to save lives. And I'm not kidding. He actually said that. As I covered in my previous video about Mr. Fuck Your Rights Medal of Honor Ducote, he stated, quote, having to stay home for a few weeks, even if it violates, in some minds, freedoms, is justified if it saves lives of those that can't fight the virus. Guys, those are her words, not mine. Unfortunately, you can't see this on Mr. Fuck Your Rights Facebook page because he took it down so you couldn't see it. But you can pause this video right here to read it in its entirety and decide for yourself what you think he means. Now, Doug has since replied to this by not apologizing for having a tyrannical mentality. Rather, he hunkered down, dug in, and doubled down with a web of lies and excuses and a further articulation that fuck your rights is exactly what he meant. And to top it all off, Doug has produced yet another incriminating video. I didn't think it'd be possible for Douglas Fuck Your Rights Ducote to dig his pit of tyranny any deeper. Metaphorically speaking, he threw his shovel out of the hole, climbed out of the hole himself, rented a Cat 320 excavator, and is digging faster and deeper than I think he even has the ability to realize. So this video right here is an urgent plea to all of Doug's followers not to believe me, but to use the plumb line of rationality, logic, and truth to determine which of us is standing firm on the bedrock of truth and liberty. Because either he's lining up with truth and liberty, or I'm lining up with truth and liberty, or we're both out to lunch. Because we certainly can't both be fighting for pure, unadulterated freedom in this major disagreement we have. Besides, we shouldn't be checking into the cult of personality anyway. We should be following freedom and truth, period. The name of Doug's video is Patriots versus Lying Liberal Bigots. Know the difference. It was uploaded on April 29th and has over a 31% dislike rating. And the rating is only relevant because as you look through the comments, there are many who aren't just disliking the video. They're making salient points and holding Doug's feet to the fire as he dodges questions of liberty, which he cannot answer in truth because he's been blinded by the left versus right mainstream propaganda lie. So let's weigh this strictly on the scales of justice, liberty, and truth.
Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. I wanted to take a moment to discuss the difference between American patriots and bigots. You know, recently in the past few hours, someone reached out to me, a dear friend that is an Angel family member. And for those of you that don't know, Angel families are those who lost a child or a loved one to murder by an illegal alien, someone that was in our country that shouldn't have been.
Now, I just have a quick observation and a couple questions about this. It's heartbreaking anytime anybody loses a loved one to murder by the hand of any murderous human being. But how does it matter in the least that the murder, in this case, happens to be at the hands of a human being who's considered illegal, whatever that means? What is legality and illegality anyway? They're merely constructs of the mind, not realities. Can one man say to another man, because you crossed that imaginary line by political puppets, you are hereby declared illegal? Who has the authority to tell another human being, if you move from that tree on the Mexico side to that tree on the Texas side, you're illegal and we reserve the right to harm you? Isn't it just as tragic that the mother of Daniel Shaver lost her innocent son to a murderer named Officer Philip Brailsford of the Mesa, Arizona Police Department? Or that innocent Philando Castile's mom lost her son to another murderer wearing a costume? Does Douglas think that certain murderers are bad and need to be highlighted and condemned, but that other murderers, like the ones who wear badges and uniforms and carry guns and the authority of the state, get a pass?
Actually, there were two of them that reached out and shared their thoughts on the current controversy. Well, I guess that's a good name of putting it.
On the current controversy.
The only controversy here is the objection normal people who love freedom have with anybody who would come along and say fuck your rights to a bunch of people in a parking lot having fun and being free. And actually, Douglas' mentality of fuck your rights, which is identical to the sentiment of all mainstream media leftists, as he would call them, extends to anyone who he thinks would possibly jeopardize someone's health. In Doug's world, if you break curfew, fuck your rights. If you violate the stay-at-home orders of tyranny, fuck your rights. If you act like a free man or a free woman during a government-concocted, mainstream media-promoted kung flu fake-demic, fuck your rights. Doug wants you to give up your rights and stay at home. He wanted those kids punished by their parents for simply acting like free people. I mean, what's next? Is he going to say that he's being attacked because a bunch of people objected to and called him out for his anti-freedom, tyranny-loving rhetoric? Wait, what's this?
For those that attack me and attack those on the right, attack conservatives, attack Republicans.
For those that attack me and attack those on the right, attack conservatives, attack Republicans.
So Doug launched a real attack on individual liberties, which, by the way, he takes every opportunity to remind people that he fought for during his deployments, which he really didn't fight for freedom because that's not what the military-industrial complex is all about. And then he turns around and says that you can't exercise those liberties, which he thinks he fought for but didn't, and believes he's being attacked as he hides behind the feeble shield of his fake conservatism, which marches to the drumbeat of fuck your rights. In a very real and very ironic sense, he's demonstrating that he is the toilet seat licker that he accuses others of being. This is truly fascinating and sad to watch the corruption of statism eat into somebody's brain like this. But it happens in the same way, and you can observe this to those on the Democrat liberal side, just like it happens on the Republican conservative side. They're both constantly guilty of the very things they accuse the other side of.
So I wrote down a few notes from what they said, and I wanted to share that with you because I thought, you know what? This makes a lot of sense, and it's very, very important that American patriots realize exactly what they said and just how true it really is. And I think you would get that as I read these off to you.
Now, it may be that Doug is reading actual notes from what somebody else actually said, but then why doesn't he just read the actual letter or email? This struck me as kind of strange. And Doug has now been caught in so many massive, outright provable recorded lies, I don't believe at all that these concepts he's about to read came from somebody else. Rather, I would bet, and I could be wrong, but I would bet that everything you're about to hear him say came from him as he continues on his already established trajectory of sidestepping and deflecting the fact that he has proven himself to be a hater of liberty. And he further lays cover for himself by adding the sad, emotion-filled layer of deception by saying that this comes from an angel family. And we can just see that this is his modus operandi.
If they are attacking you, it just means that you are over the target.
Actually, it doesn't have to mean that at all. Doug's acting like a 5-year-old who can't consider that there could be alternative ways of looking at this. You could be attacked and not be over the target. It's a possibility that you're not even being attacked at all, but that you brought well-deserved hardship on your own self, your own channel, and your own family by your own anti-freedom stupidity. And you who follow Doug, you're really going to sit there and agree that Doug is being attacked because people are rightly condemning him for expressing the tyranny that resides in his heart and came out on his Facebook page and out of his mouth? The reason he's getting heat is because he believes your inalienable rights should be suspended and violated in order to keep other people safe from a virus that may not even exist. And even if a deadly virus or a marching foreign army was coming against us, there will never ever be a legitimate right to take away the rights of somebody who's not done anything wrong. And if you want to call that an attack, fine. But how can you say he doesn't deserve that attack? This guy hates you and your family's rights and thinks tyrants have the right to violate your rights. And people are liberal bigots because they rise against such evil? If you really believe that, please go back to Doug's channel and continue patting him on the back as he teaches his audience how to bend over for every tyrant that comes along for any reason. Let's listen to that again.
If they are attacking you, it just means that you are over the target, under their skin, and deep into their brain. If they are attacking you, it means that you're doing something right.
Again, this really sounds like it's coming from Doug. Doug really wants you to believe, against all the evidence stacked against him, that he's in the right. And that's what people who are not willing to roll up their sleeves and get into the trenches and fight for liberty do. They want you to believe there's something that they're not.
Look no further than the vicious attacks on people like President Trump and everyone in his administration.
Vicious attacks on Trump? You mean the shallow dog and pony patty cake attacks the toothless mainstream media who works in concert with the government to hoodwink the masses is doing? We know mainstream media is a bunch of liars, but so is Trump. And the reason people like Doug can't see that is because he hasn't taken the principled position and has checked into the cult of personality. Trump is clearly doing way more damage than Bush and Obama combined in way less time. Just answer one question. How is a nationwide lockdown making America great again? Why were we way more free under banker-bought Obama? If you can't see that, I can only conclude that you're intentionally blind.
Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, and the likes.
It's pretty bad when you group yourself in with a gaggle of fake stream corporate shills in order to make yourself look good.
These people are attacked 24/7 by every Democrat and every liberal in America, and for that matter, across the globe. And they are. When you're being attacked by someone who claims to be an American patriot, pay close attention to their past videos, if they have any, comments, and statements. If they are anti-border, anti-law enforcement, anti-military, anti-veteran, they are not an American patriot.
Anti-law enforcement, anti-military, anti-veteran, they are not an American patriot.
Guys, let's be honest about this. From the perspective of the British Crown, the Founding Fathers met all of Doug's criteria here for not being patriots. The founders were well-known cop killers. They hated the British police protections and enforcement practices. They were sick of it. They despised the military and chose instead to form a militia. They were tired of the law enforcers of their day taking away their rights. They were the disobedient ones because they had the spirit of rebellion, which is the true spirit of freedom and liberty coursing through their veins. I've done a lot of videos about how law enforcement is the most corrupt and dishonest and violent gang on the planet. Why? Because they got a monopoly on force and violence. They reserve the right to commit violence. The more laws they enforce, the less free we all are. How many innocent people have had their lives ruined and ended just since the fake war on drugs by Anslinger and Nixon and Reagan and every Democrat and Republican president? How about civil asset forfeiture? If cops catch you in possession with your own money, if they think it's too much, then they'll steal it from you, throw you into a cage, and treat you like a criminal. And those who are against such a gang are not patriots in Doug's eyes? Okay, Doug, then you're a clear enemy of freedom. And about being a pawn for the bankers in the military-industrial complex, need we say any more than the incriminating shirt Doug is wearing right here? It's actually quite ironic that he's wearing a Desert Storm shirt. We got into Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm on the basis of protecting the incubator babies. You remember that? It was all predicated on a lie to justify military intervention. It wasn't about protecting babies at all. It was about controlling the oil for good old U.S. corporate imperialism. But Doug is sold on and bows down to the mystical religiosity of the military-industrial complex and doesn't seem to care that America's sons and daughters are being used as pawns for foreign policy. When you promote the military, you promote the Zio death cult and you glorify mass murder. But don't take my word for it. Read one of the most highly decorated Marines in the world. Read Major General Smedley Butler's book, War is a Racket. But Doug, you shouldn't read it because you'll think General Butler's attacking you. Snowflakes can only react to so much truth before they have a breakdown.
They are anti-American. And last, just because someone can quote a few of our founding fathers' past statements or speeches does not make them anything other than someone that can memorize things. Remember President Obama? He was great at giving speeches, but not worth a damn as a leader.
Hey, Doug, I agree. Obama was bad. Really bad. But guess what Obama never said? Just take a guess, Doug. Even evil Obama never said, fuck your rights. And guess what Obama never even came close to doing? He never even came close to shutting down America. And he had plenty of pandemic opportunities to do it, too. So by your own words, Doug, you condemn yourself and your freedom-trampling puppet dictator, Trump.
Well, they're 100% right. And they said, Doug, you need to move on, and you need to stay focused on your message. The message that you brought with the Douglas Ducote Show, with your YouTube videos, with what you do out in the community helping veterans and law enforcement and first responders. Stay focused on what brought us to you. Stay focused to those that are your core followers. And let all those bigots, haters, continue to spread their hate, because you're never going to change what they say or how they feel or what they think. They're no different than sheep. And damn, were they right.
Damn, were they right.
Damn, were they right.
Yeah, they said all of that. And Doug is happy that they said that, because that means that he doesn't have to answer for himself and his anti-freedom, anti-American, individual rights-hating rhetoric. Let's say that somebody else did say this to Doug. What Doug just did is what any 5-year-old would do on a playground. My mommy said that I was right. I'm always right, and she says I don't have to answer for myself or take personal responsibilities for what I said. Mommy says all you people out there are attacking me because I'm flying over the target, and you're nothing but a bunch of sheep. Real mature way to tackle this, Doug. I'm going to leave the link to Doug's videos and all the links that prove Doug hates liberty in the description and in the pinned comment. Please, if you visit his channel, be polite and kind, and let the logical, morally based words of liberty and truth rain down upon those who seek to destroy and suspend and violate your rights in any way, shape, or form. Hey, Doug, I no longer feel sorry for you. You made your bed and set yourself against all Americans. Now it's time for you to sleep in that bed. Leave your thoughts about this for the world, the Google Thought Police, and the tyrant-minded Doug Fuck Your Rights Ducatis of the world in the comments section below. And I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.